Morning y'all. Right, it's Monday morning. I'm playing today with Kevin Harper, Dan Henderson, Matt as well. We're playing locally, which can be fun. At a course that Matt made infamous with one of his victories. And today's daily vlog is going to talk about open qualifying. Because there's been something that's been on my mind for a while. There's lots of talk at the moment about equality in golf with genders, which is great. So we're going to talk about the Open and something that just, ever since I tried qualifying for the Open, this used to play on my mind. I want to hear your opinion. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that with Kevin, someone who's actually qualified and played in the Open, went through the qualifying. He's not sure what stages he went through, but we'll talk to him about that today. This one's just starting to grind on me a bit more. I'm not sure the internet is helping. I'll tell you what I mean. Today's question of the day today. What is the best major of the year? We've got the US Open coming up very soon. Lots of Americans love the US Open, which I totally understand, support your Open. So what is, in your minds, in that comment section down below, the most important major? Not the one you'd want to win. What do you think people feel is the most important one? This question's, there's no answer to this question, so we'll have a bit of opinion to it. So let's all not fight about it.
Tree come from?
Oh, Daniel, are you getting over that?
Not, I'm gonna have to tee up right here.
Yeah, right back there. You can go back there if you want. I have a question, Matthew.
Shoot.
Do you want to hear it, Kevin?
I do.
Will you give me your answer, Dan?
I will.
So my question, right, we're going to talk about the Open today. The Open, not the US. The Open.
The Open.
And we're going to talk about issues I've had, even back in the days when I used to try and qualify for it, about the criteria of qualifying and how I think possibly there's a tree. Oh, that's right by that tree. Yeah. Oh, Matt, go mark it. That hurts you to see someone.
Put my glove down.
I think there's some big questions around the qualifying of it that actually sum up golf if you want to think about it, which obviously I think maybe I'm thinking about it too much, or others just are too happy enjoying the loveliness of golf. Okay, now you've played in an Open, Kev.
I have.
What levels of qualification did you go through?
I went straight to final qualifying.
Because?
I had a world ranking at the time.
So a world ranking of any ranking gets you to final qualifying?
It does. I went for the Sunningdale, which is basically where like the European Tour guys, there's more spots available, so they try and do the Sunningdale qualifying. And
you could choose that because you were through world rankings, or if I'd have got through stage one, could I have chosen Sunningdale?
No, you can't. I chose that one, but because my world ranking wasn't high enough at the time, it then put me into final qualifying venue, which is at Panmure. So there's a lot less spots. The top three got through.
What did you shoot to get through?
I shot 67, 68.
Which is what to par?
Sick. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I think it might have been 5 or 6.
6 under total.
It's something like 5 under.
Did you win it second or third?
I won it.
You won it?
Yeah. So that was good.
You won it at Sunningdale?
No, he just get another word as done. Okay, so then you went through not the first stage, which is what lots of people see going through. You got to second stage and then just stood up there and won it, which is pretty impressive. That's why I guess world ranking people do get that slight advantage. So you've obviously done Open qualifying, got through. Matt, have you ever done Open qualifying?
What is it?
I've done it. I think I did it twice or 3 times. I got within one shot of getting through at Copt Heath, like bogeyed the last kind of stories on a drivable par 4. You've got through stage 1, haven't you?
I've got through stage 1. Went to final qualifying when it was at St George's. I don't think it was the last time it was at St George's, maybe 2004.
So what course did you go to final qualifying at?
Littlestone.
Okay.
Which is in
and how did you do there?
I did okay, but not. It was never going to qualify. There was about 4 spots, and they were just changing it then because there were still European Tour players playing in that stage.
Yeah.
So like Ian Woosnam was there.
Yeah,
which was lovely because you're on the same
for
course
you.
as them.
Yeah.
But
so,
no, that was.
So the question I'm going to pose as we go through this, and we're going to get our shots in a minute and carry on. But so don't answer this. Think about the answer. You get every Tom, Dick, or Harry is allowed to qualify purely because we've turned PGA Pro, which we know means nothing in the realms of playing. So I was a far better player as an amateur than as soon as I turned pro. It was about trying to earn money. It was a job. It wasn't about going and playing. There are exceptions to that. Kev uses it as a springboard to play, but that's another debate that I'm still not happy with in some ways. Yet there are many really good players who are purely not allowed to enter purely because of their gender. So that's going to be the question that has baffled me for years. I would argue someone like Mal Reed or Charlie Hull and many other great, I mean, Georgie, what's she called, from Parkstone?
Is it Hall?
Georgie Hall.
Hall.
You're telling me they wouldn't have more chance than some idiot PGA Pro?
I haven't tried. Stop pointing at me.
But
I'm realistic.
But there are people who are worse than you, no disrespect, who are doing it because they can, because they can spend 150 quid.
Yeah.
And this is called the Open. So look, before everyone gets their knickers in a twist, because I did a video similar to this about the Masters, right? I went upset. I got a little message that even the people at the Masters had seen it and weren't impressed. Even though in that video we all state the Masters, it was a major ladder. I think the Open is a fantastic tournament. It's arguably my favourite major. Okay, that's not the point. My point is more about, I'm surprised this question's never been asked before. But maybe it never gets asked before because it's generally men doing all the writing. Oh, let's hit our shots. This is hot potatoes, hot potatoes. So thoughts then, Kev. Why can ladies or women not go for qualifying when there are so many men who are allowed to go for qualifying, even though they're nowhere near qualified? They're just not qualified.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, they should. The Open, the Championship, yeah.
Dan, share some wisdom with me.
Another story.
It will be blamed on tradition. That's what it will be blamed on.
Oh, you're going to use tradition against us again, are you?
No, I'm not. And I see it not just in like the Open, but you see it with like club captain.
Yeah.
At golf clubs.
We see it in golf.
In golf in general.
This is why I have this conversation, because it's riddled in golf.
Yeah.
Yet golf is happy to carry on ignoring it. And then all of a sudden as well, because what's happening a lot of the minute, golf's having a bit of an awakening. It's struggling with participation, and it's seeing that there's a massive genre of people that they can try and get, female golfers. It's like we've had golf for all these years in our blazers. Now it's struggling. Can the women now play? That's what it feels like to me. Is that fair in any way or not?
Yeah, 100%. I think you're absolutely right. I think that because it is, as you said, it is struggling, it's now allowed to open its doors a little bit.
Which is just odd.
Isn't it like the only level that I can think when both genders play on the same day is a junior Open?
Yeah.
Like that's going like proper simple, I know, but junior Open, there's boys and girls playing, isn't there? I don't know if that's the same tournament these days.
No, not in the same competition.
Still separate.
Yeah.
What about then, here's one for you, right? The top 5 players in the world happen to be female. Then what happens? What does the Open do then? It's now got the 5 best players in the world not competing in its event. Because really, we can be brutal as we like with these questions. That's what it's saying. It's saying we want the best field. It's the Open. We're going to open it up to everyone. But it's only open up to a certain gender. If the top 5 players in the world overnight become female, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but me with 2 daughters, I look at Fanula and she could be the best player in the world if she wants. I'm obviously a delusional dad. She hits it further than her brother at the minute. She's stronger. So we can use the strength argument, but no one uses that argument when they're like 11, 12, 13, 14, where it's often you go into secondary school after secondary school, it's the other way round.
Yeah.
The opportunities still aren't there from then. Oh, it's a hot potato.
Oh, it is. Such an awkward conversation. No one wants to say anything. Yeah. I'm happy just being quiet.
I'm happy to say everything.
Yeah.
Nobody has an answer.
Yeah.
My biggest question, which we'll let our tee shots and we'll move on. My biggest question, which upsets me the most, is why is this discussion not being had? That's the bigger problem. It's what he said there is the problem, not that, Matt, you're always the problem. I don't mean it like that. It's that mentality that is the problem.
Yeah.
How can this be a shocking conversation? We could go back 10 years, 15 years in business, this conversation would be where this conversation is now for golf.
Yeah.
Can men earn the same as women in banking? No, never. Can they be heads of industry? No, never. That would have been the same.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting awkward, isn't it? Shall I finish this on my own?
Please, yeah, please.
All just turned into a bit of a, you know. Oh, mine's gone in.
Yours has gone in.
Kev's in there.
Hello, Kevin.
There he is.
Yeah, you gone. Where is that gone?
Oh.
So my question, back to the Open, is my question even a question?
Yeah.
It is.
Is it though?
Probably for not for another 20 years or so.
But if it is,
I think
if you
now-
say if you say it is a question,
It is, yeah.
so if you say in the comments down below, because this isn't my point of view as such, it's like it's kind of what I'm thinking. But if I went into a meeting about this, I want to hear the arguments both sides. As in, I'm going to go in going, surely this is wrong. But if someone persuades me that it isn't, that's fine. Like, tell me why it isn't wrong. But my head, and it's fought this for a long time, even when I was trying to get in the Open, there were just so much chaff that were never going to qualify. There are people now with cameras who are chaff, who are never going to qualify. We know one personally, locally, who's doing a similar idea. And I just think it makes a mockery, personally, because the trouble is the audience don't understand. So, I remember playing in events that weren't really events, but people thought they were events. Does that make sense? Oh, Mark's playing in that PGA thing up at the Manor. It's just an ordinary merit. You know, lots of people got the 4-turn pro and they're in it. This isn't a tour event. I know it's bigger than your monthly medal. I'm sure it excites you, but it's like having your name on your bag a bit.
Like
Do you know what I mean?
Oh God, I'm dying.
You go, oh,
It's like the tournament that's on when there's a major on, isn't it? That no one cares about. There's a winner. I got a tickle.
Tickle.
You know?
Tickle.
So here you go then. You all think it is a question, but you've never asked it.
Because it's a massive question, isn't it? It's a huge question.
But that hasn't stopped you asking it. I think, and you tell me, that you haven't asked it because everyone's happy. It's like when you question the Masters. It's green, it's beautiful, the water's blue. Why question something that's so beautiful? What about some of the other issues that do surround that event? Not saying it's not a great event, love it and the rest of it, but if we're not ever going to have these discussions, that's how we stay in blazers in golf. That's how we all stay in our blazers and everyone's happy because we're in our blazers, and you get changed into your blazers and you all congratulate each other because we're all males, and no one ever moves anything.
Go. Like, let's look at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Was there a shift at Wimbledon at any stage? I mean, was Wimbledon...
Ladies were playing at Wimbledon when they were wearing long trousers and skirts and, you know...
What I mean is that was the original Wimbledon title, was that just called Wimbledon? Rather than now it's called the men's singles and...
No, it's always been the men's signals and the
men's,
men's, as in the modern era, those plates and stuff go back. But post below, I'll be corrected. I don't know the answer here. It's a discussion I'm surprised more people aren't having, I guess, is what I think is a shame. Because we call it the Open, and we all love it, and I love it, but it's not open to people who could get through first stage of qualifying comfortably, and it's open to loads of people who can't get through first stage, not even close. So then the other counter questions is, are we giving too much credit to PGA pros like us? Like, I didn't turn PGA Pro thinking, oh great, I can get in the Open now, because I was able to do it as an amateur.
You weren't allowed to do it unless you were off scratch as an amateur.
Which I was.
But then the next day you could turn pro off 4 And now you can enter the open.
Yeah, and that used to drive me mental.
I think it's wrong, but
yeah.
I mean, that's a different system.
But that's a less, so lots of people have had that discussion, but that's a far smaller discussion than the one I'm trying to have. We're all sexist, as much as we don't want to be. We join in, we're all part of the problem. Yeah, you can sit there looking coy, you three. You're the problem.
I'm going to enter it next year.
Wearing what clothes?
Yeah.
There we go, great day filming with the gang. Post comments down below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. If it's a question, if it's like just a ridiculous question, is it something you've thought about? Does it ask maybe bigger questions, ones that you've not thought about, where you actually think, hang on, yeah, maybe some of this isn't quite right? Let me know down below. The best thing with this video is just watching those three squirm, wasn't it? It's so much fun watching them just literally not know what to do with their answers, because you can see them thinking there's political kind of agendas here, don't want to upset certain golf bodies. You know, Kevin wants to enter the Open or play in it, I'm sure, still as well. It's one of golf's biggest issues, I personally think, and again, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. There are some kind of big players in golf that kind of run it, from the golf companies to some of the governing bodies, and you often feel if you get on the wrong side of them, it can be made very uncomfortable for you, when really at the end of the day, we kind of all own this sport. I mean, I found it with certain things, companies and what have you, through my years of doing what I do. If you get on the wrong side of them, they try their hardest to make things difficult for you on all levels of the sport. And I just think it's a shame that some of the really big questions, this being one of them for me, lots of people just seem really scared to even answer, like those squirming boys in this video. That was fun. Post comments, as always, hit the thumbs up button if you still love the daily vlogs, and also remember to hit the subscribe button if you don't already. We'll see you tomorrow.